Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and this episode we're breaking down The Invisible Man. This is the first horror movie starring John Cena, and the film has a lot to unpack from it. The Invisible Man seemed to give away the whole movie in its trailer, but when you watch it you'll see there's a lot of things that it merely teases, and overall the film takes some unexpected turns. Throughout this video we're going to be giving our full thoughts on the movie, answering some of the questions that you may have, and discussing what its ending means. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to see it yet and don't want to know what happens, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. If you enjoyed the video then please drop a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe with notifications on to never miss an episode. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking the video. Now let's get into our breakdown of The Invisible Man.
Where are you? Where are you? Show yourself! Come on! Do it! There you are.
The Invisible Man has been a character that has lasted for centuries, and for good reason. Created by H.G. Wells all the way back in 1897, The Invisible Man has left an imprint on society due to its study of human psychology and comments on what one could do if no one else could see them. There have been several reboots over the years, but few have really left their mark. That's where Blumhouse step in, and from the off, the film is by far one of the best depictions ever put to screen. The Invisible Man really recaptures the horror element of the antagonist, and at points it's genuinely terrifying. The film itself follows Cecilia Cass, who in the dead of night manages to escape from her abusive husband Adrian. Adrian is a genius level scientist that's accumulated a lot of wealth, however he harbours a darker side to his personality that comes with the power. Adrian has tormented Cecilia and pretty much trapped her in a toxic relationship that has led to the character's psyche being severely fractured. From the off there are clear themes of isolation and barricades around Cecilia. Whether it's Adrian sleeping with his arm around her or the huge walls that border the house, she's clearly been trapped. Cecilia has to fight tooth and nail to get out of these, and yet Adrian is able to break through them with ease, as we see when he smashes his hand through the glass window on a ride out of there. After breaking free from his grasp, Adrian apparently commits suicide and leaves her a large portion of his fortune. This indicates the financial control that abusers sometimes have over their victims. Whilst it could seem like she is finally free, something isn't right, and Cecilia is slowly haunted by something that she's unable to see. She also discovers at one point in the film that she's pregnant with Adrian's child, and ultimately the movie is about him going to great lengths to get her to return to him with his prodigy. Now, one of the big questions I've seen on the film is when exactly did this pregnancy happen? Well, there are two ways that it could have, which I'll give my opinion on. Now, Adrian, as Tom implied, could have swapped out Cecilia's birth control. The other alternative is that he forced himself upon her. In the film there's lip service to her being only a month along in the pregnancy, and though we don't know exactly when they last slept together, it is very muddy when this happened. Personally, I'm going with the latter theory, as I can see it more fitting in with the character and the personality that we see him possess in the movie. As mentioned earlier, the financial control is enforced with this pregnancy, and therefore it seems more likely to me that the conception had a sinister side to it. You can decide for yourself, but I tend to sit more with the twisted version. Either way, it shows how manipulative that Adrian really is, and armed with some incredible technology, how dangerous he could be. It's an outstanding premise that not only makes it one of the most unique adaptations of the story ever, but it also comments on modern day abuse and how it can often be psychological as well as physical. Cecilia is clearly a broken woman, and had we not had the knowledge of the title and premise before going in, you could definitely second guess the character's perception at certain points and think that she could all just be imagining it. The men in the movie don't really believe her and make excuses for Adrian, and though James ultimately turns out to be an ally, it shows how judgmental society can be. Gaslighting is a big theme throughout the film, and whether this is a more supernatural depiction of an abusive relationship or not, you can definitely take it and apply elements of it to the real world. Horrors are at their best when they operate like this, and it's no surprise that The Invisible Man is receiving a lot of acclaim for its execution and social commentary. It really shows how abusers work and the patterns that they employ to make sure that their victim really has nowhere to turn. The Invisible Man systematically cuts off those around Cecilia, makes her question herself, himself, and in the end tries to force her back into a relationship with him in an almost Machiavellian manner. It's clear that Cecilia's relationship with men has been forever damaged, and it shows that abuse can severely affect someone for the rest of their life, even if they manage to escape the situation that caused it. It's truly an inspired way to reinvent the Invisible Man, and I have to say, early on this quickly secured the spot of best horror of the year for me. That isn't really that hard right now, especially with The Boy 2, The Grudge and The Turning, but I think it has set the bar very high in a way that will be difficult for other entries outside of A Quiet Place 2 to live up to. After things begin to ramp up, and it becomes clear that Cecilia and those around her are being hunted by someone, a big twist comes in the form of who the Invisible Man really is. She discovers that the Invisible Man has been living in an attic, and this reveal is enough to send chills up your spine. She slowly sets out on a journey to get proof, and lots of the scenes are very tense and atmospheric. When revisiting Adrian's home, she discovers the invisibility machine and realizes that the man who has manipulated her has also discovered a way to manipulate light. Now, as for the Invisible Man reveal, initially most, including myself, assumed it was Adrian. However, we learn that it was apparently Tom, his brother, who carried out all of the attacks. The Invisible Man killed Cecilia's sister Emily and also framed her for murder. After she manages to defeat him, we learn that Adrian has apparently been a victim too, locked away in his own basement for weeks upon end. Most buy it, and it seems like Adrian's ultimate endgame has worked. However, Cecilia doesn't buy it, and she wears a wire and agrees to have dinner with him. Whether he or Tom was carrying out most of the crimes, we don't know, but personally, I think Adrian manipulated Tom for this reveal and threw him under the bus, knowing that at some point it would have to look like he was trapped in his home. So, in my opinion, Adrian was pretty much behind it all of the time. As with most abusers, he tries to suggest a fresh start, whilst also refusing to admit that there's been any wrongdoing. Cecilia insists that he tells the truth so that he'll finally implicate himself, and though he doesn't out and out say it, he discusses how their lives together will have a surprise, which is a callback to earlier in the film when he also used the word to torment her. It's a truly chilling moment when you think you have it all figured out, but the movie continues to throw curveballs as it heads into its final scenes. Cecilia gets up and goes to the bedroom, and Adrian seems very smug in his demeanour. But something changes, and Adrian stands up and appears to slit his own throat, similar to the manner that Emily was murdered. Perhaps the guilt finally got to him, right? Well, don't bet on it, as we learn that it was actually Cecilia behind it all, using the invisible suit that she hid earlier in the movie and Adrian's own CCTV against him. Adrian was so comfortable in his control over Cecilia that he was completely blindsided by this move, and his ego really was his biggest downfall. Never could he imagine that someone he believed was his slave could rise up against him and take over, but Cecilia delights in doing this. Initially it seemed as if Cecilia just wanted Adrian to confess, but this move shows that she is far more intelligent than Adrian gave her credit for, and using his own technology against him makes the revenge even sweeter. The ending for me symbolises that abuse victims can often feel like they're invisible, but they're not, and they do have a voice and the ability to stand up to their abusers. Though Cecilia has to go to incredible lengths to do this, in the process she gains independence, and with the knowledge of all that she's gone through, she will avoid abusive relationships in the future. The movie also showcases how abuse leads to further abuse, violence, and revenge, and elevates the horror above most. She calls the police and tells them that Adrian has killed himself, and gives the performance of a lifetime to sell a story to the cops that show up. Abuse victims often have to pretend that something happened when it didn't, such as they fell down the stairs, and this ability to lie to those who look deeply at what's going on has become a weapon in her arsenal. She leaves the house and goes off to start a new life for herself with the invisible suit, which is the only thing that would be able to prove that she was complicit in Adrian's death. Going forward, there have been people theorising that there will be a sequel, but I think as a standalone piece it works far better than anything we could get potentially showing what Cecilia could be doing in the future. Now, I have seen some people saying that Adrian could have been innocent and that Cecilia could have committed this murder mistakenly. However, I think that the themes of the film itself shut this down a lot, as we ourselves, when saying this, are relegated to being the men that simply don't believe Cecilia, even though we saw the things on screen play out the way that they did. It's a genius move, and overall, it's a reason why the film is such a well-made piece of work. Now, before we get into the review, I just want to let you know we're giving away a free copy of the Infinity Saga box set to one random subscriber. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts on the film in the comments section below. The winner's going to be chosen at random on the 15th of March and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. As for my thoughts on the film, I'm sure you can guess I absolutely loved it. Whether it was the pacing, subject matter, or just the general turn of events that the film took, everything worked for me here. It's perfectly grounded by Elisabeth Moss's performance, and she is quickly becoming an actor to watch due to her abilities to paint out a vulnerable person that slowly overcomes the things that are thrown at her. Not only is this the best horror movie of the year, in my opinion it's one of the best movies of the year, and it's a solid way to kickstart the new direction of the Dark Universe. I can't wait to rewatch it, and overall the movie was a blast, and it gets a 9 out of 10. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on The Invisible Man and what you took from the film. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please give it a thumbs up and make sure you check out our breakdown of I'm Not Okay With This, which is going to be linked at the end. We go over everything you need to know about the Netflix show, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month then please click the join button below. You get access to content early and can also suggest video topics and breakdowns. We massively appreciate it and it goes a long way to helping videos like this get made. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Those are the best ways to keep up to date with heavy spoilers, so hopefully we see you over there very soon. This is a channel for people who are mad into movies, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Huge thank you for taking the time to watch this. I've been Definition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.